Hare Krishna, dear devotees, my humble obeisances to you all. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all for joining His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today, we are going to continue with our chapter, first canto, chapter number 17, Punishment and Reward of Kali. And we are almost at the end of the chapter. And today's verse is 40. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. You can please take over, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Okay, I'll be there in a minute.
Yes, Maharaj. Shall I play the kirtan?
No, I'm ready.
Okay, Maharaj.
Okay, I need a bigger, let me see, I gotta make my screen bigger somehow. I got a partial screen here, let's see. Okay, it's a little better. Better if I can get a full screen. I still have a split screen.
You can double click on the screen, Maharaj, so that it will become full screen.
Doesn't work for me. Okay. Bigger, but it's still not full screen yet. Can we make it full screen? Somehow.
Can I
Just make it a full screen, that's all. Zoom, that's all.
You have a second is you and then you can
Okay, we got it.
Okay.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Amuni Panchastanani Adharmam Prabhavan Kalahim Autarayena Dattani Ya Vyasatan Nideshakrit. Translation. Thus the personality of Kali, by directions of Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Uttara, was allowed to live in those 5 places. Thus the age of Kali began with gold standardization. Haribo, we're all here. And therefore falsity, intoxication, animal slaughter, and prostitution are rampant all over the world. And the Saner section is eager to drive out corruption. The counteracting process is suggested above, and everyone can take advantage of this suggestion. Next verse. Ataitanina sevata bubushu purushat kvachet nise sato dharmo shilo rajaloka patir guruhu. Translation. Therefore, whoever desires progressive well-being, especially kings, religionists, public servants, public leaders, brahmanas, and sannyasis, should never come in contact with the 4 above mentioned irreligious principles. The Brahmins are the religious preceptors for all other castes, and the sannyasis are the spiritual masters for all the castes and orders of society. So also are the king and the public leaders who are responsible for material welfare of all the people. The progressive religionists and those who are responsible human beings, or those who do not want to spoil their valuable human lives, should refrain from all the principles of irreligiosity, especially illicit connection with women. If a Brahmin is not truthful, all his claims as a Brahmana at once become null and void. If the sannyasi is illicitly connected with women, all his claims as a sannyasi at once become false. Similarly, if the king and the public leader are unnecessarily proud or habituated to drinking and smoking, certainly they become disqualified to discharge public welfare activities. Truthfulness is the basic principle for all religions. The four leaders of the human society, namely the sannyasis, the brahmanas, the king, and the public leader, must be tested crucially by their character and qualification before one can be accepted as a spiritual or material master of society. He must be tested by the above-mentioned criteria or character. Such public leaders may be less qualified in academic qualifications, but is necessary primarily that they be free from the contamination of the four disqualifications, namely gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter. Omagyan timidandasya genojana salakai chaksu unmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Devase Sasunyavadi Pastyatya De Satarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Paevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasavi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, as the purport mentions, with academic qualifications are less important than character. Character makes the person, and the person, even though they may not be so adept in a particular skill that they're asked to do, still, if they have character, and here it's described what is that character, that one should be free from these five. Actually, it mentions 5, 4 plus 1 in the previous verse, where the gold standard is being instituted as another form of cheating within society. It's one of the biggest and most organized form of cheating within the society. And people go along with it, although there's nothing to it. It's just a process of cheating, along with these 4 other inebrities or sinful activities. So a wealth of a person is their character. They can also learn, and when they have character, they become easily able to adapt and adept to situations that they have to responsibility for. But if they only have academic qualifications, then they may use their position to engage in wrong activities, and therefore either they'll cheat themselves, obviously, and cheat others also. And also, we see many also religious leaders and people who are heads of state, they get trapped and they get caught with some irreligious activity, such illicit connection with women or stealing large amounts of money. And that recently happened within our society. One very person who was very qualified in his position to do the work took advantage of his position and stole large amounts of money. And so it happens. So although the person was adept at his service, and he was given much credit for that, still, because he wasn't honest and he was greedy, everything went wrong. So we see a person should be tested by character and not so much by qualification. And that's how things go on in the world today, the opposite, qualification. Therefore, Prabhupada used to say there's one word, it's called teacher, Teacher. If you change the letters around using the same letters, you get Cheater, cheater. So those who pose themselves as teachers many times become cheaters. It's very, because if a person doesn't have the proper training and character that develops by way of training, then they're subjected to their lower nature. All living beings have two natures. We have a higher nature and a lower nature. The lower nature is the bodily conception of life. The higher nature is our spiritual consciousness. And the process is to elevate people from the lower consciousness to the higher consciousness. But many times in that process of elevation, there is a strong conflict between the two. And sometimes they ask, well, when there is a conflict, what do we do? Just like the analogy is given, if there's two dogs fighting and you want one of the dogs to win, you feed that dog and don't feed the other dog. So if you feed your higher consciousness, it will overshadow and ultimately erase the tendency to act on the lower consciousness, which is the bodily consciousness, or even within the bodily conscious, the mode of material nature, ignorance. So it's very much a process of elevation. Just like when devotees come to Krishna consciousness, they may still have bad habits, tendencies for material sense gratification, and maybe even inclined to sinful activity. But through the training process, guided by the spiritual master and the leaders within the society, people get a higher taste. Unless you get a higher taste, and we use that as, it's a euphemism, higher taste. What it means is you develop your spiritual consciousness more and more, then the lower taste will always be prominent, because the lower taste is what we come with, the bodily concept of life, and all of the activities that centered around fulfilling the desires of the body, even things that are considered to be in the lower modes of material energy. But therefore, there's training. Although, as a society, we accept people from all classes, all backgrounds, all categories, there are this interesting example. There was one man, he saw Srila Prabhupada in a picture. It was a picture or a video, and he saw on Prabhupada's wrist there was a very expensive watch. So this man was a thief. So he decided that he was going to steal Prabhupada's watch. So he came, this was in Bombay, and he came and he started to associate with devotees. And he met Prabhupada. After meeting Prabhupada, he realized Prabhupada was a very saintly person, very powerful. And so he gave up his idea of stealing Prabhupada's watch. And at the same time, he was becoming attracted to Krishna consciousness. At one point, Prabhupada took off his watch and he handed it to him. He said, "Here, this is for you." He was shocked because Prabhupada knew why he came, because Prabhupada is Trikala ground. He knows past, present, and future. He knows your mind. He can simply see you, and Prabhupada could simply look at you and can tell what you were about and what you were thinking. He had that power. That was his spiritual acumen. But the person became so embarrassed that he said, no, thank you anyway. But Prabhupada gave him the watch anyway. And later he joined and got initiated. And that's a nice story. And they gave him the name Haridas. Haridas. And Hari has a couple meanings. It refers to the Supreme Lord, but it also means one who takes away. So he came to take away Srila Prabhupada's watch, and he got the name Haridas and became a nice devotee. Prabhupada really liked him after a while. So sometimes people come to our movement in order to gain something in a very illicit way, criminal way, but they wind up becoming a devotee when they associate with advanced souls. But still, his character was simply transformed by Prabhupada's personal association. But we have a process, and that's why there is a process for bringing people to the stage of chanting 16 rounds, following 4 regulative principles, and developing an attitude of service, both to the Lord and to the Lord's devotees, both, not just one or the other. And we try to train people simply in that way. And the training process is to give them a little bit of a taste of Krishna consciousness through the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, reading and discussing philosophical teachings based on transcendental knowledge coming from Krishna himself through Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And also prasadam. Prasadam is also a higher taste. We find that devotees love prasadam. They always look forward to prasadam. When I was growing up, I never looked forward to eating. It wasn't like something that I actually looked forward to. Sometimes I would find ways to avoid it. But when it comes to prasadam, it's a whole different thing. It's an experience. Because it's Krishna's mercy that has been tasted by Krishna directly. Therefore, it's always transcendental and always elevating one's consciousness to a higher state. So building character is really about what Krishna consciousness is, building spiritual character. Material character develops to the level of the mode of goodness. That's why sometimes it's explained that one who's practicing Krishna consciousness should understand what are the qualities and characteristics of the mode of goodness and practice their devotional service by adopting these qualities. Once they get to the mode of goodness in the execution of their devotional service, freed from the lower modes, then through the power of devotional service, one can elevate themselves to the liberated platform, or the platform beyond the 3 modes, which is called Suddha Sattva. There's Sattva Gun, but there's Suddha Sattva, pure goodness, and that is Krishna consciousness or devotional service. So character is the basis, and therefore our whole movement is based on building transcendental character. Lying, cheating, politics, trying to get into a position so you could facilitate your own desires within this society, which goes on, is not a principle of devotion. It's a principle of the lower modes of material energy. So therefore, but because we are so conditioned by our previous activities, both in this life and in many, many lives previously, the tendency to act on these lower modes sometimes arises due to situation. But therefore, when one is trained in higher principles, just like Prabhupada would say, a devotee doesn't even like to kill an ant. Just if somehow a devotee by accident kills an ant or a bug or something, they feel unhappy, they feel bad, they feel repentant. That's the quality of a devotee. Before we maybe were maybe even looking to cause harm to others, but once we become a devotee, we don't think without even think about that anymore. We just think of how to do good to others. That's the character of one who is situated in devotional service. And the scriptures define what are the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. There are 26 main qualities, and these develop simultaneously along with the execution of one's devotional service. And when one tries to practice these qualities also, we see here in human society mentioning these 4 types of leaders: kings, religionists, public leaders, and brahmanas, and sannyasis, 5, that they never would even consider coming in contact with these 4 irreligious principles. But nowadays in material society, you can't find leaders in these areas that are without either one or many of these bad qualities. And that is the effects of this age of Kali. Kali is very influential in bringing about. And therefore, no one trusts, hardly anyone trusts leadership nowadays. And leaders are always cheating the people. What goes on as leadership is just another way to fulfill one's own personal needs for power, for position, for accumulation of wealth, many of these positions like that. So people aspire for positions. There might be a few people, to say across the board would be what we say, not exactly correct, but there are a few people who want to get a position so they can help others, but they don't know how to help others. They think by adjusting the material energy in such a way as to bring about benefits for others will be beneficial. The way to help another person is to bring them to self-realization, or bring them closer to their actual position as eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. That is the real benefit. And the process of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the sacrifice in this age. Yadyai sankirtanai prayai yajantihi sumedasaha. Excuse me. So we don't find any of the leaderships today who are exemplary in the character of a leader. Maybe a few, but very, very few. But within religious circles, character is the means by which one gauges one's progress in devotional service. Krishna sees how much you're actually becoming Krishna conscious, or how eager you are to serve, how eager you are to develop these qualities. Sometimes devotees will ask the question, how do I know I'm making advancement in spiritual life? What is the barometer? What is the means for understanding, evaluating? And here it is. It's how much I'm developing these good qualities and how much I'm losing the tendency for those qualities in the modes of passion and ignorance. This is the barometer that one can. This is one of the 2-point, just a 2-point barometer. The other barometer is how much we're losing attraction for material activities and how much we're gaining attraction for spiritual activities. Both of those are means by which one can evaluate, well, yeah, I'm making progress, I can see. I used to become angry, and now I'm not becoming angry so easy. I used to be very much interested in getting what I want, but now I'm thinking how to serve others. So, you know, we see we see certain qualities arising within within one's character, and these are ways to understand, yes, progress is being made like that. So yeah, but we have in the leaders in today's society, we don't give them any credit because the society is so topsy-turvy. Well, we have a few good leaders, just like in India, we have Prime Minister Modi and Rishi, who is the governor of Bihar. Both of these have, since they've taken office, have shown real leadership qualities in so many different ways and have uplifted the society in many ways. So yeah, but that's India. The rest of the world, I don't know if it's there. We don't find so much in so many other places. But I mean, there are people who are well-intended, but who do not know how to use their well-intentions in the way that is beneficial in the long run for people, and not simply to dole out some kind of material welfare work so people can get something right away, like giving free food or free what we say, clothing, free accommodations for people who are poor. That's nice, but that will not help the person ultimately. The best welfare work is to bring a person to his understanding of who he is and what is his purpose in life. And that is the job of the brahmanas, that is the job of the sannyasis, and it's the kings and the public leaders who should support these types of programs. And then they actually become leaders in the real sense of the word. Okay, so as a society, we always understand that, yeah, how much am I making progress? Am I becoming humble, tolerant, patient, free from personal desire? Am my desire to serve is increasing? Am I becoming more inclined to associate with devotees and less inclined to associate with those who are not? All of these are characteristics or qualities that build spiritual character. Okay, we'll stop there.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you so much for such a wonderful class. Yeah, very nice points about building character and how the leaders are today. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Dear devotees, any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead now. And please turn on your cameras if possible, wherever you are. Thank you so much. Yeah, Maharaj, yeah. So when we usually when we hear about building character and building character and becoming more aware of our qualities and how we are behaving, so these things are in practice it is very difficult. Like I feel like for listening sake, it's very good that we are, and also theoretically we can say that Krishna consciousness will work to build our character and everything. But actual practically, when we try to practice them, definitely we see a lot of difficulties, or we see like our anarthas are coming onto our face, and we are seeing our ugly inside. So how to balance, Maharaj?
Well, it's a process. When you get into the shower, you're not clean until you actually finish. So we're in the process of getting purified. Stay in the process and practice the qualities. When you notice that these qualities are being challenged by other qualities, then you somehow or other reflect and you see, am I becoming impatient? Am I becoming impulsive? Am I becoming more a tendency to become disturbed when things don't go my way? All these, we have to observe ourselves instead of just spontaneously acting according to how we feel. Feelings come and go. Just like sometimes people say, well, I don't feel humble, so why should I act humble? But that is contrary to who you are, because the soul by nature has that quality. So because you don't feel it, that's because you're still on the bodily concept of life, which is artificial, it's superficial, it's superfluous to you. You as a soul, you are the soul, have all good qualities. And Krishna conscious practice, the activities of devotional service are meant to bring those qualities to the forefront. And so in the process of doing it, there's going to be sometimes victory and sometimes maybe we'll slip from the standard. But we should never get discouraged. We should try to keep going. And then the best way is to also associate with people who have those qualities that you're trying to adopt. Observe them and serve them, and that'll help you develop them also.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Yeah.
If we expect perfection as soon as we start, or even right after we start, I think we're not understanding that the process is gradual, generally. And there's also tendencies to slip back. Mm-hmm. But don't let these slips discourage you. Use them as opportunities to learn.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you. Sonal Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my obeisances to all the devotees as well. I have a question regarding this initial stages when we have started practicing Krishna consciousness. Shall we preach at that stage? Because we are full of all these anarthas, and if we try to preach and these anarthas will come into our preaching practice, and it may affect what we are preaching, so the message we may not be able to pass the message as purely as we wish to. So at what level shall we preach in that case? Because if we are not fully purified, which may take years if it happens, shall we preach at all or not?
Well, they say preach on the level of your realization. Don't try to go beyond your level of realization. You can always tell everyone about how important it is to chant Hare Krishna, to read the books, and to facilitate people's reading by helping them get the books. So there's always, we did a class one time to try to evaluate how many different ways that we could preach. And we came up with more than 40 different ways. So it's not always speaking philosophy. Preaching could be distributing prasadam, could be teaching people, how to perform a devotional activity. There's been different ways you can reach out. You can preach by writing letters. You can preach by, you can write letters, write articles, write a book. So many ways you can preach. But see what is attractive to you and try to develop it in that way. But Prabhupada would give a very simple explanation. saying that it was Malati's little girl. Her name was Saraswati. So Saraswati was 5 years old, and she would walk around during the Sunday feast with all the guests there. And she would come up to someone and she would just say, "Do you know Krishna?" And they would say, "No." And then she would say, "He's the supreme personality of Godhead." And she would run away. So Prabhupada said, yes, she doesn't know much, but whatever she knows, she's saying. And Prabhupada gave her a lot of credit for that. So yeah, so whatever level you can do, that's fine. If you try to get beyond your level, and then you might stumble over and get stuck. So try to preach according to your level of understanding. That's all.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Any questions, dear devotees? Yes, Krishna Kaviraj Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Maharaj, when looking at the irreligious principle of gambling, and I just looked at the definition of gambling, and it's saying to take risky action in the hope of a desired result. For me, that feels like any material activity could be described as gambling.
Yeah,
Because in any material activity, we're taking a risky action in the hope of a desired result.
yeah. Sometimes just speculation is another form of gambling. Yeah, that's the broader sense. And it's also given in that description also, yeah. Speculate.
Okay.
You don't know what's right, and you're speculating on what's right. That's another form of gambling. Yeah. I think it's like this. Well, who cares about what you think? What do you know? You have to take the authority, those who actually know. If you repeat the authority, it's like Prabhupada. He never said that I came up with my own ideas. I always repeated what I learned from my spiritual master, what I learned from Krishna. So we don't speculate. Speculative thoughts, speculative ideas are another form of gambling, yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj.
But people like to, just like, for instance, this is a very simple analogy. You're driving and you're not sure where to go. And so you stop and you ask someone. Person doesn't know, but they'll give you directions anyway. Because they want to present themselves as being knowledgeable. One time, one devotee was driving along and he stopped. There was two guys together, and he asked them, and both were giving different directions. One was pointing one way, one was pointing the other. So yeah, people want to explain, don't want to be known as not knowing things, so they'll say anything just to convince people that they know something. So yeah, that's another form of gambling.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Maharaj, I was thinking, whenever we want to act accordingly, according to our higher nature, as you said about a good dog and bad dog. So suddenly we realize that sometimes we don't, we act on the lower nature. But immediately after acting like that, we remember that, oh Krishna, why I did like this. So before, why don't we hear that before acting, Maharaj? So how to do that practically?
Is that for you or is that for everybody?
No, I'm talking about myself.
Become thoughtful before you either act or speak. Think about what you're going to say before you say it. Think about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it before you do it. And then that thought, as Krishna says, I give knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Krishna works through the intelligence. But you have to give the intelligence. Intelligence, for some people, intelligence is fast. For some people, intelligence is slow. There are people who have very quick intelligence. And there's people who have slower intelligence, but it's very deep because they're more thoughtful in their use of their intelligence. So people have different natures. You have to see. You have quick intelligence. You're very fast to really jump into something. So if you find yourself jumping and there's nothing to jump into, or you're jumping in a wrong way, slow down a little bit. So that may take a little bit of some practice to realign your way of doing things. If you make enough mistakes, then you start thinking, maybe I should be more careful, more thoughtful.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah, that's true. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you. I'll try to practice that. Yes.
Yeah, you'll do it.
Thank you.
You're actually doing it more recently than you have been in the past. That's my observation.
Thank you, Maharaj.
I'm sure your husband's happy because of that.
Still
Balaji,
lot to learn.
Balaji's happy too.
Sukhawa Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all the assembled devotees. Guru Maharaj, in connection to Srimati Mataji's first question, if we make a mistake, like, you did mention that devotees feel bad if they even kill the ants. What should be our reaction? Like, I know what we feel bad, but what should we do to get over that karma? Because that we have accumulated that karma, then we have killed so many people. While walking, we do kill them. So how do we get over those karmas?
Well, if you're engaged in devotional service, you're not responsible for these accidental killing of germs. Just like you have the Jains, they wear masks because they know when you breathe, you also kill germs. You smash spices within them, the mortar and pestle, you kill, tiny insects. You can't stop jiva sajivanam. You can't stop killing as long as but if you're engaged in devotional service, then you're not responsible for these things. So the materialists, they're responsible for every activity they're performing because they're acting they're acting within the three modes of material nature. As long as you're acting on the material platform, there's reactions. If you're acting on the spiritual platform, there's no reactions. So if you engage in devotional service, Prabhupada said if you're walking down the street and you're going to the temple, even if you step on some insect, of course, we try to avoid that anyway. But if it happens accidentally or unknowingly, there's no reaction for that. The power of the spiritual energy. You're doing something spiritual or devotional. You're free from the influence of the three modes.
But what when we are performing some materialistic activities such as going to work, going out shopping and stuff? Okay, shopping, we can say that, okay, we are going to buy bhogas for Krishna. Going to work.
Yeah, well, as a devotee, the question is, if it's required for you to work, that's one thing. If it's not required, that's another thing.
Guru Maharaj can't do without working at the moment. So.
If you want to become rich overnight and you think, well, I gotta get another job, gotta get a better job, then you're playing with the material energy.
It's just meeting the two ends of the material life, Guru Maharaj. We have to work.
You don't have to work. Where does it say that in the scriptures? You have to work. It doesn't say that anywhere. It says you have to serve.
Say that way, that serving the family and serving this Krishna, we do need some sort of a Lakshmi.
Yeah, at one point in life, but how long will that go on? Life means you're moving more towards spiritual and less material. It's not that you keep moving in the same direction year after year.
This government has increased the pension age to 67.
Yeah.
You don't even get the pension if you retire, Guru Maharaj.
Don't worry, they're not going to give you anything anyway. Don't worry.
Exactly.
Just to keep things at a minimum, that's all.
Yeah, that's what we're trying, but yeah.
If you're using your home and everything, your whole life to serve the devotees, then that's spiritual.
That we are trying as much as we can.
You have to have some place to live. You have to take care of certain responsibilities in the family. But the scriptures say live simply, not gorgeous.
Yep.
That way you have time for spiritual life. Usually if we have too many material plans or responsibilities, we don't have enough time for Krishna consciousness. Simple living, high thinking. Live simply. We need something. I mean, if you can say, well, I'll stay in the material world and maintain my family in Harrow forever,
No, eventually plan is to go to Mayapur, but it's just after finishing the responsibilities. Yes, definitely, Guru Maharaj.
Okay, then keep that as a focus.
It is my focus. Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Practice living in Mayapur now.
I don't even have a house to live there.
That's not hard. There's so many opportunities to get a place there. All you do is walk there and you just ask around, something's available. Yeah, it's a growing community.
Okay. Yeah, next time I'm in Mayapur, I'll definitely check that.
And if you go there when I'm not there, you can stay in my house.
Oh,
I'm serious.
thank you so much, Gurumal. That's your mercy. I don't think so. I will be able to maintain your house up to your standard. Your devotion and my devotion is totally different levels.
It might be cleaner with you there.
Cleaner, yes, I can be more clean. Yeah, that's fine. But devotionally, if you see, your vibrations are amazing. It'll be
Well,
my benefit to stay in your house, but then when you come, then you will find, oh my God,
yeah,
what happened here?
the thing is, you'll be surrounded by devotion everywhere you go.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
My house is not even built yet, so don't worry.
I know that. Sri Devi Mataji told me about that. It is being done yet. No, but it's I will look for something there. Yeah.
There's so many places. Mayapur, Vrindavan, so many places.
Mm.
Okay.
All right, Guru Maharaj. Hare
Maharaj, I don't see anybody hand raise. Any questions? Dear devotees, any last minute questions or comments? Maharaj, no questions. Shall we chant around, Maharaj?
Yeah, they can chant one around here.
Sure.
Yay. Today we ended a little earlier than usual.
Yes, Maharaj, we are right on the mark of 1 hour. But still 3 more minutes is there. Devotees doesn't have any questions today.
Yay. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Hari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Rama. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yes, yes. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare. Put it up. Oh, yeah. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Push it inward. Make it straight, straighter. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Push the sides in. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, no wonder. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Hare. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Dr. Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. I just want to announce tomorrow's class. Tomorrow's class, Thursday, April 4th, is with ISKCON Harrisburg devotees. And the verse number is Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 1st chapter, verse number 7, 2.1.7. And it is on the regular time, which is 12 p.m. UK time and 7 a.m. Eastern. And for India, it is 4:30 p.m. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you very much.
For the class. See you all tomorrow again. I'll share the link on the WhatsApp group. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for today's class. Hare
Srimad
Krishna.
Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Guru
Krishna.
Pran.
Thank you very much.